Cool.
You know, we were talking about assembly plants a minute ago and the strike and everything, but when the assembly plants are up and running, Jeff has a feature on the top producing assembly plants
I've
in
got
America.
the top 6 due to time. There's several others. You could go top 10, top 15, but I did this just because of that, because of the lead-in article and the gentleman from Ford and all that good stuff. So let's get this going. And the number 6 is a General Motors plant. Now, none of these photos have anything to do with what we're talking about, so they're just random shots. General Motors plant in Fort Wayne is a Roanoke, Indiana plant. They produce 307,454 cars. Fort Wayne is the busiest General Motors plant in America and is responsible for the company's 2 large pickup trucks, which would be the GMC Sierra and the Chevrolet Silverado. It is a 2.85 million square foot factory, and it opened in 1986.
Do you know how many square feet that is? You can't stand at one end of the factory and see the other end when you're inside of it.
And it's relatively automated. There's a lot of computer stuff
Number
going
5
on.
is Toyota, Georgetown, Kentucky, 315,889 cars. Toyota has long manufactured many of its cars in America, including the top-selling Camry, the midsize. The Camry is assembled at the Toyota plant, a 7.5 million square foot plant in Georgetown.
Huge.
Yeah, it's the largest plant outside of the one in Japan. Now, that's the Fort Street plant. That's where my dad worked. That's where I worked. That's where my brother worked.
Is it still there?
It's leveled. It's gone. But this is the one that we're talking about now. Number 4 is the Nissan North America in Smyrna, Tennessee. 333,392 vehicles. Smyrna is one of the oldest foreign auto plants in the U.S., with production starting back in June of 1983. It's also the second highest producing foreign-owned factory in the country, thanks in part to the Nissan Altima.
Not UAW.
Not UAW. They produce all kinds of things: the Pathfinder, the Frontier, the Maxima, and also the Nissan Altima. So those are the ones for the Nissan plant. Number 3 is Hyundai. Hyundai Motor Manufacturing in Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, 342,162 cars. They may be designed and engineered in South Korea, but the Hyundai Elantra and Sonata are both assembled in the U.S. The 2 million square foot factory was officially opened in May 2005. This was all built on a handshake. Number 2, we talked about it, and it was Brian from Ford. Ford Dearborn plant in Dearborn, Michigan, 343,888 cars. This is a Dodge picture, by the way. It opened in 2004. The Dearborn truck plant is home to America's best-selling vehicle, the Ford F-1 Series. Last year, they put together 323,415 copies of the F-Series, and then 473 copies of the now-defunct Lincoln Mark LT pickup. It's a 203 million square foot floor space for that particular plant.
Been there.
Now, number 1, and we talked about it earlier, the Ford Kansas City assembly plant in Claycomo, Missouri, not the Kansas City side, but the Missouri side. 460,338 vehicles. Henry Ford, who pioneered the moving assembly line, would surely be proud to see Ford Motor Company factories on this list. If you go to the top 10, Ford's on there 3 times. General Motors only on there once. It is a 4.7 million square foot plant. It also produces all of the Ford F-Series. That's the Rouge plant right there. Look at that healthy thing there, boy. I tell you what. Don't you want to go there and breathe that air?
Well, I'll tell you what, the time that I went there, it was a new plant. They had torn down the original Rouge River plant, which was the actual first plant that Henry put together, right there across from Windsor, Ontario. And they made the frames. They cut the wood. They made the glass.
Produced their own electricity.
Yep. And formed their own steel and They did everything at the Rouge River Assembly. Now,
and that's why the river was red, because they dumped all that waste into the river.
And all of the property is still there, although there's a lot of it that's not used anymore, because you could just imagine all those other factories that supplied it, the Rouge River factory, they just took up a lot of space in this part of land.
Well, and then in the Texas area, we have Arlington Assembly Plant that builds GM utilities.
And they're about to
Tahoes
expand.
And Suburban, and then the San Antonio plant for Toyota builds Tundras and Tacomas.
Yep.
And then there's a plant in Shreveport, Louisiana as well, which is just across the Texas border.
And don't leave out the Tesla plant.
Yeah, you could do research. You could get the top 50, the top 20, whatever you're looking for in that category of what information you need. I did 6 for time.
So it's going to have an impact on Texas as well. The strike is. They say for every employee on strike, there's 6 to 10 ancillary people who are impacted
I believe it.
by
Sure.
it.
Yeah, I believe it. Hey, the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeart Radio app. That's it. Just look for